Good morning and welcome to A Life of a Puppy. My name is Andrea and I am the owner of Madkovich Family Pets, a small dog breeder in northern Illinois who breeds golden retrievers, golden doodles, and labradoodles. And today I am sitting in my chair and snuggling with one of my 13-day-old mini labradoodle puppies. What a treat. This is probably one of the funnest things about being a dog breeder, is just snuggling these little guys. But today we're going to talk about how to decide what kind of a breed is best for your family. So through all of the years that we have been doing dog breeding, we often get people who don't ask this question, but they should be asking this question: what dog breed is right for me? There are hundreds of dog breeds out there, and each of them come with a little bit different characteristics. And based on a lot of different criteria, some breeds will be great for your lifestyle and your family dynamic, and others will not. But this really came to light in 2020 when the pandemic hit, and we just had people calling all the time. It was like, I don't care what kind of dog, I just need a puppy. Shelters and all those things. And what happened was that because people were just getting whatever they wanted, those dogs ended up being relinquished or abandoned because they didn't meet the needs of the family, and they just weren't a good fit. So people were disappointed, it wasn't what they thought, and they relinquish those dogs. So one of the first questions when you are ready to get a puppy, whether it's you had puppies as a kid, you had dogs as a kid, and you're getting your first dog as an adult, or you've never had pets and you're getting your first dog for your children, there are a lot of different things that you need to consider before deciding what dog breed is best for you. So we're going to go through some of those things that you need to think about as you are considering the dog breed. And then through this series, we will also identify like how to find the answers to that, how to find those dog breeds, how to find good dog breeders, and so on through the whole process. So let's start today with, what do you need to ask yourself about your family in order to determine what dog breed is best for you? So first of all, whether you are single or married or have a family, all of those things do matter. So if you are married and you have a family, whether you have teenagers or whether you have preschoolers is going to make a difference on what kind of dog you get. If you are newly married and you hope to have children, this new puppy that you are bringing home is going to be a part of your life for the next 10 to 15 years, most likely. And so you need to consider, do I want to have children? So I need to consider that in the dynamic of the dog breed that I am selecting for my family. Okay, so age of your family members, what the family members' dynamic are all very important things to think about for now and for the future of the next 10 to 15 years. So even though you've considered that, and we'll talk about this down the line, keep in mind that when you have small children, you do always need to supervise your children with a puppy up to a certain age. Both because the actions of the children could be harmful to the dog, as well as the dog could do something that isn't mean but could, scratch or hurt your child as well. So knowing those dynamics are also going to be important, but we'll talk about that more later. Health issues. Do you have allergies? Are you allergic to dogs? Are you allergic to cats? Do you have seasonal allergies? These things are all important because, so if you're allergic to dogs, are you allergic to their saliva or are you allergic to their dander? These things do make a difference in your decision, because if you're allergic to their dander, you're going to want to go with a more hypoallergenic, curlier coat that traps all that dander inside and it's released through the grooming process rather than ending up in your home all the time. And that helps with those dog allergies. But if you have seasonal allergies, you want to go with a straighter, flatter coat dog that you can brush and wash on a daily, regular basis and get those outdoor allergens that have settled in on their coat out on a regular basis. Because if you have a curly haired dog and it's trapping all those allergens inside, every time you pet that dog, you are bringing those allergens into your, into your breathing and into your personal space, which is going to cause problems with your seasonal allergies. So understanding that dynamic and how that works with the different coats that dog has is important in making that decision. In addition to that, do you have any medical needs that require a therapy dog, a service dog? Is your situation one in which you require a guard dog, depending on where you live and what are you looking for in that dog? All those things are going to also impact what breed you choose. Your living situation, do you live in an apartment on the 15th floor or on the first floor? Do you have outdoor access? That's easy. Do you have a yard? Is it fenced in? Do you have space to walk? Is there a dog park close by? All of these things, none of those things would preclude you from having a dog, but it would definitely impact. You do not want to have a dog that needs to run for an hour a day and play fetch if you live in an apartment and you're in the city where you walk places and you're 5 miles from a dog park. You're not going to go to that dog park every day, and so that dog is going to be unhappy living in that closed apartment environment without the kind of exercise that it needs. Living in an apartment doesn't preclude you from having a dog that needs a lot of exercise, because if you like to walk and run and bike and you have a dog park close by, then those dogs are options. So understanding your limitations and then looking at what kind of needs physically, exercise-wise that those dogs need is going to impact what breed you choose. Time commitments. How busy are you? There are some dogs, especially smaller dogs, they really can't be left home for 10 or 12 hours a day, even if it's just 2 or 3 days a week. That's just a really long time for a really tiny bladder to hold. So you need to think about that. An older dog or a larger dog can be left home longer. Again, though, if they have huge exercise needs, you don't want to leave that dog home alone all day long, free in your house to exercise themselves. So what kind of time commitments you have? Do your children have sports? Can you take your dog with you to that sports, or do you have to leave them home? All of the time commitments that you already have. And again, if you're planning on having a family or you have young children and when they get into middle school and high school, you plan on them being in activities, how is that going to impact the way that you live with your dog? And of course, that leads into your lifestyle. Are you a homebody, or do you like to go out of the time? I mean, if you like to come home from work, change your clothes, eat some dinner, and head out to have fun with friends, probably having a dog is not going to be your best situation. Do you travel? Do you mind traveling with your dog? Do you like to camp? All those things. Or do you have the money to put them in a kennel while you're gone, or even the desire to kennel them while you're traveling? How much travel do you do? Do you like to do, okay, so then we go back to lifestyle. Do you like to hike? Do you like to walk? Do you like to bike? What kinds of things do you like to do? And are you going to take that dog along with you? And if you do, you need to make sure that they have the stamina and the drive to keep up with your family. So all of these factors, and that's a lot, and you just kind of work through each one of them. All of these factors are important to consider when you are trying to determine what dog is going to be best for you. And just because you had a Rottweiler growing up on 2 acres with 5 kids, doesn't mean that because you had a Rottweiler is best for your circumstances. You might love a Rottweiler, and they're great dogs, and I love a Rottweiler. But your family dynamic as you grow up, or your situation that is now not the same as when you were a child, may not be the best for that breed type. And when you go through all these things, you're going to find that there are multiple breed types to choose from that are going to be good for you. So making sure that you work through each one of those lists with whoever is a significant person in your life who's going to be helping you care for this dog. Whether it is your neighbor, you would want to talk with them about some of their things, or your parents, are they going to be coming over and letting the dog out at noon? So considering where they are at in their life and what they can handle is important, as well as, well, maybe the kids come home after school and they're home without parental people there. Are they going to be taking the dog out? So all of these different things, even, if you have a wife, consider, what does your wife want? How much does she want to invest in the dog? Because a lot of times people will come and only one of the couple is on board with this dog and the other one's like, I'm not doing anything with it. If you don't come home and take the dog out, I'm not taking the dog out. Like, this is your dog. And that can bring some tensions into your relationship that maybe you don't want to have. So consider all of those options before deciding on a dog breed, or even really maybe you find that right now is not the best time to have a dog. And that is a really great thing to understand and accept. Say, hey, maybe this year's not a good time for a dog. Let's talk about it some more, and maybe next year would be a good time for a dog, or that kind of thing. So understanding your family dynamic and knowing all of those different things is going to help you make that really great decision, and that's going to help you really enjoy your dog and get the most out of having that companion in your home. It just really makes all the difference in the world. So after you consider all of these family dynamics and how that is all going to work and what's going to work best for you, now those are pretty practical things. You're going to need to think about some other things, and these things are going to be more your preferences. So were you thinking a small dog, a medium dog, a large dog? What is it that you felt was going to be the best fit? And again, these are preferences. So when you get through this list, you're going to prioritize this list. But energy level, do you really want to go out and run with this dog, or do you want it to be a couch potato? If you are a very active family, you want to be sure, like we talked about, that you have an active dog. Temperament. Do you have small children? Making sure that the dog of your choice is going to be good with children. And there's no perfect scenario. Things happen. Like I have golden retrievers and golden doodles and labradoodles, and they are the sweetest, kindest dogs on the planet. But when my kids run in the house and they trip over them and they knee them in the gut by accident, the dogs naturally respond, as would we as people, right? If somebody comes and falls on me and knees me in the gut, my reaction is going to be to push them off or to yell or something, right? And so our dogs are going to have that same natural protective reaction. Even if they don't bite, they might growl, and that's what mine do. They kind of growl and let them know that hurt. So you want to be sure that you have that ideal temperament for children, even though, you still do have to supervise that. You still have to teach your kids how to respect the dog and be careful around the dog. Trainability, like how much time and effort do you want to put into training? There are some dogs that training is easy. They were made to please you and they want to do what you ask them to do. So when you make it clear and consistent, boom, easy peasy. House training in a week, obedience training in a month. All I got to do is be consistent now, and we're living a good life. There are others that the reward is really great, but it is a lot harder. It's a lot more repetitive for a lot longer time. So how much do you want to, and how much time do you have to invest in training that dog? And what do you want to train them for? Is it a dog that you want to just do some basic obedience training, house training, basic obedience training, stay off the counters, all that, and now we're just going to live life? Or do you want to show them? Do you want to do rally? Do you want to do trick training? Do you want to be able to walk the dog down the street without a leash at all? What do you want your dog to do, and how much effort are you willing and able to put into their training? Again, different dogs are going to require different levels of training for a lot of reasons. Grooming requirements. How much time do you want to put into grooming? A curlier coat is going to require that you brush them more, or you actually And if you have allergies, you don't want to brush them. You want to actually take them to the groomer every 6 to 8 weeks and have them do it and get all that junk out at the groomer. And that is a financial aspect of that, is that grooming, especially a doodle, can be anywhere from $70 to $200 depending on the services that you are asking for and the groomer that you go to. And you want to do that every 6 to 8 weeks. Or maybe you want a low maintenance dog like my golden retrievers. I brush them weekly. I bathe them every 6 to 8 weeks at home. I blow dry them. If I want to keep some of the shedding down, I'll use my blow dryer and blow dry them. But the groomer, we don't go to the groomer. I can do it all at home, and I love that low maintenance stuff. I can do it on the road if I'm traveling with them. Just pop them in the tub. They went in the pond, they got all stinky, get out the hose and the soap, and we can do this no problem, because we don't have to deal with mats, and we don't have to deal with tangles, and we don't have to deal with all of these other things that come with the curlier coats. So grooming, definitely one of those things that you need to consider. And then health issues. Every breed, just like people, there's health issues that you need to consider about. Some of those health issues over the years have been determined to be some more consistent things in each breed. Other things like cancer that can't be treated for, it can hit any single breed. It doesn't really matter. Gender doesn't matter, breed doesn't matter. There are things that you are just going to have to consider may happen. But if you know that you don't want to deal with certain issues, then as you're looking through those breeds and looking at what the potential health issues are, then you can make that a part of your decision in what breed that you would like to breed. Having said that, there is more to that, and we'll talk about the health aspect when you're going to find a breeder. There are more questions that you can ask to determine whether your dog, the dog that you're purchasing from that breeder, might be at a lower risk for some of those health issues. But we'll go over all that in another time. So these are some of the things that you really need to consider as you're thinking about what breed you would like to have. And so in our next episode, we're going to go through a small example with a family that is trying to select a dog for the first time and how they do that. And then we'll go through like now what? Where do I look for these breed characteristics? Now that I've decided all these things and I've prioritized all the characteristics that I'm looking for, from do I want a male or female to coat type, etc. Now where do I go? Thank you so much for listening, and if you like this video and you want to see more, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so you get posted when I post a new video, and share this with anybody and everybody that you know. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.